All right, I'm going to record now. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Future CMOs of Silicon Valley Meetup. My name is Ian Gomez. I'm the organizer of the meetup. Today, we have a great topic on how a field marketing team transitioned into a digital field marketing team in 2 weeks during this pandemic. We have a great lineup of speakers, and here's the agenda for today. So we'll start off with a quick round of introductions, our panel discussion, and Q&A from the audience. So I'll start. My name is Ian Gomez. I work for a company called H2O AI. I lead integrated marketing, the integrated marketing function there with the lovely team on this panel. And I'd like the team to say one thing they've learned during the pandemic, or a skill. A skill I learned was cooking. I actually cooked a steak last night with Qybare's help for the first time, and it turned out really good.
Ooh,
all right.
Wow.
I know. I kind of surprised myself too. So Ivan, do you want to go next? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so one skill I learned is I've been doing even more workouts. So now I wake up every morning to work out, which I didn't do in the past. So that's a great improvement for me.
Awesome. And then what's your role at H2O?
I am based in France and I joined H2O 2 months ago, and I am in charge of the marketing programs for EMEA.
Awesome. Thank you, Ivan. Bruna?
So my name is Bruna. I'm a marketing coordinator at H2O.ai. And in my role, I mainly focus on LATAM marketing and digital content creation and distribution.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruna. Okay.
And a skill I learned.
Go ahead.
So I'm just like Ivan, I learned how to work out from home, and I'm learning more about astrology.
Oh, nice. We have somebody joining. SK, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Saurabh Kumar. I go by SK. I've been with the company for over 3 years now, and like any startup, I've worn multiple hats. My current hat requires me to help the team with marketing for APJ region. That's marketing team, sales enablement team, partner marketing team, and the likes. And a particular craft that I've honed in the last 2 months, 2.5 months, is more on the lines of self-help. It was a passion when I started delivering motivation and leadership workshops in high schools about 9-10 years ago. And it didn't work out as a career because back then it did not have any money, or it did not have any awareness in the Indian market. But at this point, I think self-help, people are getting aware. People are gaining awareness on the topic, and people are receptive and accept the content, or the notion of self-help. And that is one thing that I've been trying to subject myself to, and then my friends at a later stage.
Awesome. Thank you, SK. And lastly, Qybare.
Hello, everybody. My name is Qybare Pula, and I am the marketing events person here in North America. I emphasize events because we were doing tons of in-person events, and now we migrated to digital. So I have now touched in other field marketing role out here in North America. I've been with H2O for about 2-ish years. And one thing that I've learned is I've kind of learned to have a little bit of a green thumb. I've been outside more with my father-in-law, and he's an avid gardener, and I've learned how to grow radishes and tomatoes properly, which I didn't realize was such a large process, but it is. And that's what I've learned.
Awesome. Green thumb. Very cool. Okay. So we have a few questions that we compiled from the audience and from myself, and we'll just go through them to start the conversation. First question was, what was your biggest struggle when you found out your role changed to digital field marketing?
I can take a stab at that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, with what's been going on, I think the hardest thing was to be at home and away from the team in person. So that was the biggest struggle as far as what has been going on around the world. Now, migrating from in-person events to digital, the biggest struggle was for me knowing that our audience wasn't going to be in person and be online, and just navigating the different tools to execute that type of event.
Yeah, so can I?
Go ahead, Bruna. Yeah.
Okay, so I agree a lot with Qybare. I think that the biggest change for us was to getting used to this new norm of working from home. And I personally think that the team managed this really well, because we were talking to each other every day, and maintaining this connection is certainly key to the success of a remote team. And also when the COVID outbreak happened, I was working a lot with community engagement. So I was running meetups in San Francisco and Mountain View. And then all of a sudden the in-person events had to stop. So we had to figure out a way of driving this community engagement and being able to navigate these new tools and platforms to maintain this conversation. So we had to learn how to use new tools such as GoToWebinar or Zoom. So we had to test tools, find out which ones would fit best for us. So yeah, I think this was the biggest, I wouldn't say struggle, but challenge. And I think we were able to learn a lot from that.
Awesome. How about you, Ivan? What was your biggest struggle?
Well, I would say that my biggest struggle was getting up to speed on a new role while being at home on my own. So I am actually used to working from home because I've been working remotely for 2 years now. I was also home-based in my previous role. But starting a new job in a remote environment was kind of a challenge. At first, I was looking forward to meeting the rest of the team face to face. I was really excited to go to the office and start an onboarding program with many people I would meet, but that didn't happen because of the travel restrictions. So we had to find different ways to adapt, and I think we did, because a lot of people in the company were available for virtual meetings and trainings, and that helped a lot. I was able to access training resources, video recordings, and there was always someone there to help out if I needed. So I think that was very important to help me get up to speed on my new role.
Awesome. SK, what was your biggest struggle?
Yeah, understanding what a digital field is, our roles took an entire 180-degree turn, and it took me personally some time to understand, how best we can optimize our time and, our efforts that would help our, marketing goals and in turn sales goals. So we looked at new avenues, like, we had never done an online conference before. So that is one thing that we were looking at. And, we have not done a conference, but we have done, hour-long, 2-hour-long worldwide webinars that have had like 1,000 people. And, this team has made that happen, which was a new feat and which was a new experience. So like, I think the only struggle was adapting, and I want to say understanding the role and the company's needs in a new world.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was hard for me to transition into video meetings.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're such an in-person engaging team that it's hard to come across or have your point come across on video. I think you have to try a little bit harder and be super articulate and talk slow, because I talk really fast and I'm excited and I get animated, and that the nonverbal body language you miss, because that's a lot of communication is the hands, the tone, your eyes, how you express yourself. So on video, you see it, but you don't feel it, right? So I think that was my biggest struggle, is a lack of human contact and the more energy and effort it took to explain yourself to somebody, right? So awesome, thank you guys. Next question. What are aspects of your region do you think differs from others? I think I'll ask our international people first. So, Ivan, how do you think EMEA differs from other regions right now?
I'm not so sure. So I live in France, and we have a pretty serious lockdown, if I can say. That should be over next week. I think everyone has been adapting quite good to the new situation. And in France, it was not so easy to work from home before. It's not really in our mindset. So I think it was something new for a lot of people, but everyone around me adapted really well.
How about you, Bruna?
Yeah, so I think that first, the culture. So I'm in Brazil right now, and we have an aspect in LATAM. The culture is really different, and also the language. So what we started, I think that what differs from my region is that we had to create all the content in Portuguese and started creating content in Spanish too. So I think that this was something that changed a lot, was having to create new content in different languages. But I think that from the working from home perspective, I think we are all adapting too. And it's new times for everyone. So I think that's just, in this aspect, I think we're all in the same way.
Awesome. SK, how's APAC differs?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I've seen a certain resilience, to win in APAC, and that could be very particular to our company's culture. It could be the trickle down effect from our, leadership. Like even our CMO quoted, this is a time to change the playbook, or this is the time to define the new normal, which is a very positive outlook to the current developments around the world. And another aspect that this or APJ region differs from the rest of the world is we are very meetings heavy. So I think, getting online has just given that entire meeting ecosystem an extra boost. So, your calendars are blocked and, you have meetings after meetings. And that is one thing that I'd like to put out to everybody in the online world, that if something can be done on an email, please, do that. It's important to, the new quote unquote term, it's important to not, get Zoom fatigue or, that exhaustion, so that it doesn't affect your efficiency and your performance at work. So yeah, there's a resilience to perform, which intrinsically has gotten a boost because of the environment, and that is the prime different.
Cool. Zoom fatigue. Hashtag Zoom fatigue. Cool. Never thought about that. So Qybare, how about you?
We're here in North America. I'm in the Silicon Valley. We're a little bit spoiled. I know that, other countries are the same way, but, we are used to going out, going to the office with everybody there. So that is just the difference is, trying to adjust to being remote as opposed to not being remote 5 days a week. And that's, I think, the biggest difference, since our headquarters is in Mountain View, and we are the closest. Ian and I are both close to headquarters. Bruna too, when she's back in the U.S. But yeah, I think that's the difference. Is just everyone else that works out of country is going to be remote, but we were always in person. So adjusting to that was the hardest thing.
Yeah, totally. All right, next question. What are new programs, initiatives you are leading or created due to COVID-19? Let's take a stab at that one.
I can go. I was just thinking about this in the evening. So the new programs and initiatives that we as a team have adopted. So my personal gut feel is that we have gone a little overboard in creating new programs, and at this point we have to drop one or two. That have brought in more engagement and more leads that we can handle at this point. you know, so you look at, you know, virtual meetups, we look at, you know, localized webinars, you look at, you know, virtual office hours, you know, we've done podcasts, we have done 3 different kinds of newsletters for our community, you know, and then for our marketing database, and then there's social programs, and then there's ABM, you know, so all the marketing efforts that we were doing in a physical world, we have concentrated the net result of those and put digital on it, digital facet or mask on it. And, you know, we're trying to achieve the same results in the digital world. That's my 2 cents.
Very cool. So moving all the physical things like events or customer days, conferences into a digital world, and making sure that we're still delivering results more efficiently, and trying new things is what I'm hearing, SK.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I like to say that the new initiatives that I'm created or leading is I'm getting really close to our sales, which is something that we've always intended to do.
Yeah.
But we were just extremely busy with other things going on before this. But now I'm getting a lot closer to a lot of our folks in the sales team, which will help with ABM marketing, creating new events, new programs surrounding that, new engagement. And that is something that is wonderful for my personal growth. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, I think that strong sales and marketing alignment is key now, just because our job is to deliver revenue, right, as a team.
Yeah.
So anything that we're going to be doing now has to be tied to that. Either it's awareness, lead generation, but specifically revenue and customer acquisition is key, and retention, right? So that's another big initiative of ours. The initiative of ours is retaining our current customer base, just because things are changing. And the landscape, the industry and the landscape is changing too. So anybody else want to take a stab?
Yeah, so I think that with all the uncertainty and stress also came growth. So besides having to drive digital events, I think that personally for me, I had to learn to do more video-driven initiatives. So we will launch this month at H2O our live broadcasts. So this is something that I'm working on, being able to broadcast live Q&As and interviews with makers and having this type of content. I was also, like Qybare said, I was also able to get closer to the sales reps. So I think we had the opportunity to focus on aspects that we usually did not have time to. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Very cool. Anybody else? Ivan? You're good. Okay.
So I would say that since I started a few months ago, everything seems kind of new to me as a new program. But I would also emphasize on the localized content. So for example, our sales team in France, they usually go to prospects, to customers, and they have discussions, they talk together in French. So until now, they didn't really have a need for French content, but now it's getting really important because they are not able to meet anymore in person. So this is when some localized content is quite important, I think.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, localized content is key. Right?
Yeah.
We've done a lot of translation of case studies, and we're doing our videos in terms of subtitles. So I think it's key if you're going to reach new markets to definitely speak in a local language, right? Especially in this time of, you know, trying to do lead gen and demand gen, we have to explore, or one has to explore different avenues to do that. Next question. How long do you think digital events will last? I'll go to Qybare for this one.
So I think folks are going to itch to be having that in-person interaction if they aren't already itching about it. Once everything settles, we get our protection from this, yucky disease, then I feel like it'll start migrating back to in-person, but maybe not as heavy. So I think digital events will have a lingering effect, a lingering last. It'll last longer than we probably think, but not solely digital events. Maybe it'll be a combination of some in-person with some digital aspects, and I think that would be great.
I agree. Yeah, I think there'll be some sort of balance of either, like, we're thinking of doing a conference that's both digital and in person, but limit the in person for multiple reasons, right? For safety reasons, cost reasons, and we've seen that it's effective to do these online events, and even get a bigger audience too. So we're coming up on time, so I'll skip to the last question. What are tips you'd like to give to help those transitioning roles during a challenging time? You guys have about 30 seconds to answer. Let's start with Bruna.
Okay. Let me see. Having the ability to adapt quickly. It's a time where you need to be fast. Communication is key. So try communicating with your team a lot. Alignment is never too much. And also willingness to learn new things, because you will have to do that. You will have to adapt and learn new things.
Awesome.
These are my tips.
Oh, thank you, Bruna. SK, go ahead.
Just one tip, reach out to your managers, reach out to your customers, to your colleagues, reach out to ask for help, reach out to, offer help, reach out to make sure that people around you, in your community, in your customer circles, in your office, have what they need, be it, help with work, be it, just to ask how the day has been, so just reach out. Like Bruna said, lot of there's nothing called extra alignment, or you cannot align enough ever.
Totally agreed. Evan.
Yeah, same. I think communication is really important. I've seen this when I started the new role. I was always asking people to help me because I couldn't find a resource or I didn't understand something, and I was so relieved when someone was able to help me. I think it's really important. So ask for help and try and be flexible, and also look for the solution yourself if you can before you ask for help.
Cool. And then Qybare.
One of the tips that I'd like to give is just take care of yourself. Take some time to yourself, most important. Schedule 10-minute breaks in between meetings on your calendar, because I find that, when one meeting ends, another one starts, and you don't have time to grab even a glass of water. So you need that 10-15 minutes to yourself. Schedule a lunch. I think that's a huge thing in transitioning this into this role virtually, online, remotely, is to take some time to yourself and don't overload yourself.
I agree with that, Qybare, and adding to my tip would be balance. Make sure you balance your time, balance your meetings, not to do Zoom fatigue, or not to get Zoom fatigue. Have normal lunches at your lunchtime, have breakfasts at your breakfast time, and then set boundaries of when you're going to end work for that day, because it's super easy, since your office is just your kitchen table or another spare bedroom. That's easy to go back to work, but I think it's really important to set that boundary and end work at an appropriate time. So with that said, we're 1 minute over, but thank you for everybody for joining. We'll be hosting some more virtual events in the next few weeks. With that said, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us
Bye.
here.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.